this is Bob Mason from FX Empire, and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple's XRP. We'll be looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, and the day's support, resistance, and pivot levels. It is Thursday, the 4th of November. Looking at Bitcoin against the US dollar and the hourly candlesticks, bearish start to the day. Going to need to see Bitcoin avoid the pivot at 62,213 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 64,252. Plenty of support is going to be needed for Bitcoin to break out from 63,500 levels that has proved to be strong resistance. So key on the early part of the day would be to break back through to 63,000 levels to then bring that first major resistance level into play. In the event of an extended rally, Bitcoin should target 68,000 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 65,603. Fall through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 68,62 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should avoid sub 60. Second major support level sits at 58,823. Looking at the MACDs, we had a bullish cross late yesterday, coming off the back of that recovery. On the EMAs, bullish signal still, 50 pulling away marginally from the 100 and the 200. So need to look out for direction there through the early part of the day. So key would be to avoid the pivot at 62,213, break back through to 63s, and break out from 63,500 levels to then bring resistance levels into play. Moving across to Ethereum against US dollar, also bearish. Going to need to see Ethereum move back through the pivot at 4578 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 4700. Plenty of support will be needed for Ethereum to break out from yesterday's all-time high 4670.98. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap the upside. In the event of another breakout, should see Ethereum target 4,900 levels before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 4793. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 4484 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should still well clear of sub 4200 levels. Second major support level 4363 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACDs, widening of the bearish histogram at the turn of the day after yesterday's late bearish cross. So look out for any further widening there to pressure Ethereum further. On the EMAs, however, 50 has pulled away further from the 100 and the 200, still delivering a bullish signal. So key would be to move back through the pivot at 4578 and break through yesterday's all-time high 4670.98 to then target 4,900 levels. Looking at Litecoin against US dollar, also bearish. Going to need to see Litecoin avoid a fallback through the pivot at 205 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 212. Support from the broader market will be needed for Litecoin to break out from yesterday's high. That was at 209.44. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level to cap the upside. In the event of another rally, should see Litecoin target 220s before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 217. Fallback through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 200 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should avoid sub 195s. Second major support level sits at 193. Looking at the MACDs, narrowing of the bullish histograms at the turn of the day, so look out for a possible bearish cross. On the EMA, still bullish, however, 50 pulling away from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further upside ahead. So key would be to avoid a fallback through the pivot at 205 and break out from yesterday's highs at 209.44 to then bring resistance levels into play. And you're looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, choppy morning. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP avoid the pivot at 1.1915 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 1.2547. Support from the broader market will be needed for Ripple's XRP to break out from this morning's high, 1.23722. So barring an extended rally on the day, that first major resistance level should cap the upside. In the event of another breakout, should see Ripple's XRP target 1.3s before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1.2981. Fall through the pivot will bring the first major support level at 1.1481 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 1.1s. Second major support level sits at 1.0849. Looking at the MACD's narrowing of the bullish histogram at the turn of the day, so look out for a possible bearish cross there. On the EMAs, however, that is a bullish signal, 50 pulling away from the 100 and the 200, suggesting further upside ahead. So key would be to avoid the pivot at 1.1915, break through this morning's high, 1.23722, to then bring resistance levels into play.